What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. First of all, man, before we even get to the video, bro, what is going on out here? I was just watching a video on Instagram, right? And this is how bad it's getting. This was, I think, out in LA, but it's getting bad everywhere. But this is where this particular video took place. It was in LA. This couple or this family was sitting down in a restaurant eating. Where? I don't know, because the video was kind of in like of a black and white mode. But they were sitting down eating. And a dude walks up in a restaurant full of people now. Restaurant full of people. Dude walks up with a mask on and the weapon like in front of him like this. Kind of guarded where people can, like incognito style, where people not really paying attention, and he just walks up to them and points it at them and makes them empty out their pockets and their purse and their money and their belongings and stuff like that, and then quietly just walks off. I'm like, in broad daylight, in a restaurant, like, it's getting to the point where people, they just don't care. And I say that to say, bro, just protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself, because it's scary times out here, man. It's scary times where you can't even go enjoy a bite to eat or a lunch date with, you know what I'm saying? And not have to be looking over your shoulders and be worried. It's scary. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, I just had to share that with y'all because that just blew my mind. But the next video we're gonna get into, man, shout outs to that chapter. Make sure y'all go subscribe to them. This is the disturbed case of Austin Harroff. I know I pronounced that wrong, but Austin, let's just leave it there. First name basis, all right? So, you know how that chapter is. This is about to be crazy. So make sure you strap in your seats. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Join the fam. Moment of silence for the haters. That's enough. Now run the lights up. Let's get to the video.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, hold on to your breakfast / lunch / dinner, but more importantly, hold on to your butts. The reason I say all this is because a fella named Austin Harroff managed to, surprisingly, and he was quite literally chomping at the bit. This story takes us back to Florida for like the zillionth time, but more importantly it takes us back to Jupiter. If you recall, we were just there for the story of Gretchen Anthony, and this is actually kinda related. David Anthony and Austin definitely shared some interests, and they were both just absolute nutbars. So alright, I think that's enough, you know, kicking the tires. Let's give it a go. The 15th of August, 2016. What a day it was, what a day it was. I remember it like it was just 5 years ago. It was a Monday, with the temperature getting up to about 32 degrees Celsius. That's 90 Fahrenheit. It was hot. As the evening went on and the temperature started to decrease, no, in mid-August, Florida doesn't really. A couple of folks living on Kokomo Lane in Jupiter decided, hey, you know, beer? Those two were John Stevens and Michelle Moshkin. John and Michelle had been married for about 19 years at this point. They were mad about each other. They were lovely, kind, they'd ride around the neighborhood in their golf cart with their dog, Rebel, bobbing along beside them. Michelle worked in the financial industry. John owned a landscaping company. But in 2016, they were both retired. Living the good life, chilling in their garage with the TV on. Sipping on beers, waving at folk as they walked by. A neighbor of the beer-swilling couple was a guy named Jeff, and he was up early the next day, so he couldn't partake, so he was jealous. As he was putting on his jammies at about 9:15, he heard something which stopped him dead in his tracks. It was a woman screaming. About 5 minutes later, Jeff called 911.
don't open that. Don't open that.
Fire rescue, what's your address?
Young man beating up a woman across the street.
Okay, are they outside or in a house?
It's in a garage. I ran over there. I'm bleeding profusely here at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Do you know who he is?
I have no idea. It appears he's still there.
Jeff was correct. He was bleeding. In fact, he was nearly dead. After he had heard the scream, Jeff went outside and saw, in the home of John and Michelle across the road, well, the garage was open. They had been settling in for a few sups, TV on, but now he saw them on the ground, a guy there, hitting them. He entered. Michelle wasn't moving, she was in a pool of blood.
Ooh.
And this guy said to Jeff, "You don't want to, you don't want this, you don't want any part of this." This guy then attacked Jeff. He fought back, ran through the house, and back home. That's when he noticed he'd been stabbed like a shit ton. The police arrived a few minutes later and entered this load of shite. What they saw was even worse than what Jeff saw. This guy, the attacker, was still in the garage, but he was on top of John, legs wrapped around him like a monkey. And this guy was eating him.
Oh!
He was eating his chest.
Whoa, didn't see that one. Didn't see that come. What is he on, bath salts or something? What do? You roll up and somebody's eating somebody like Walking Dead style. As a police officer, that ain't something you clocked into work thinking you was gonna come to see. I know you clock in knowing that some things could happen today. But you roll up on the scene and you see somebody eating somebody?
On his cheek and spitting out the flesh. I think this might be the most gruesome way I've ever started a video.
Yo, sir, I've got this guy wrapped around him and he's fighting him.
The police pulled out their guns. Nothing. Kept chomping. They tasered this guy. Nothing. Still chowing down. He overpowered them when they tried to grab him and handcuff him.
Oh yeah, he on something. Anybody who start displaying that superhuman strength like that, if you take a taser, you just take it and you just keep doing what he on something.
He managed to fight them off, went back to it. They unleashed the canine. He fought the dog off, eating poor John the entire time. They started kicking him in the head. Zip. He was like a Superman cannibal. Eventually, they managed to get one hand in the cuffs and drag this guy, he was a kid, really, off John. This guy was now saying, fucking kill me, shoot me, I deserve to die. The reason they didn't actually, and, they've done a lot more for less, was that even though this guy was on top of John, eating him, John was missing a few parts at this stage. They thought John was still alive. They didn't want to shoot him in case they hit John. They could hear John crying out as he was dying.
Wow.
It took all of that to get him into the back of the car. He had no criminal history. He was 19 years old. And his name was Austin Harif.
Hello bros, it's Austy Frosty, man, and today I want to talk about personal trainers and why you should be cautious when following a personal trainer. First off, a personal trainer doesn't have the same body as you. That's the first point, okay? Personal trainers are themselves, and they found out what worked for them. They went through the trial and error, they did their research, and a lot of them don't even look good, man. That's the funny part, man. You gotta listen to the personal trainer's advice, but you gotta find your way too, man. You gotta learn for yourself. You can't just hope and pray that someone is just gonna give you all the resources that you need, because it's just not gonna happen, man. So, yeah, just Be cautious when using a personal trainer and keep at it. Stay gold. Stay muscular. Quick video. Get hoes. Get money. Get bitches. Get sleuths. Fly planes. Run train. I'm a man.
Really?
Austin was born in December 1996, a native of Palm Beach, Florida. He grew up with one younger sister, Haley, his father Wade, a dentist, and his mother, Mina. That was until he reached 13, when his parents divorced and he and his sister stayed with Mother Mina. Now, as a kid, becoming a teen, becoming an adult, he was happy out. Perfect, he's grand, not a bother on him. Some bloke. He enjoyed wrestling, football, and did well enough in school too. He played defensive tackle at Suncoast Community High School, and, according to his personal statement, wanted to study pre-med in college. He ended up studying biology at Florida State University. Austin was generally described by his good friend Sam as playful, goofy, bit of a jokester, but just generally bang on. That will change, obviously. He first started drinking at age 17. He would drink so much he would black out. Come on now, brown out, not bad. Blackout, not good.
That's a great term, browning out. You like it? I love it. Thank you.
And once you throw a term like that out and everybody likes it, it's pretty much fair game. We can use it
public domain at that
It becomes public domain.
He would say he felt pressured to drink by his fraternity bros.
How's it going, guys? Nothing in life worth having is easy. Remember that, guys. You remember that? You remember that?
I remember.
You gotta promise me that you'll remember that.
He would eventually stop drinking due to wanting to have a fit body. Not my words. And instead he went for other illicit substances. Devil's lettuce, mushrooms, Adderall, LSD, Molly, and all that.
You gotta...
So you stop drinking to now just bro, what the let's run back through that list.
Wanting to have a fit body. Not my words. And instead he went for other illicit substances. Devil's lettuce, mushrooms, Adderall, LSD, Molly, and all that.
You gotta stay dedicated. Dedication is a very important point. So, we're doing this shit almost every fucking day. You gotta cut out some time in your day that you would devote, drinking, playing video games, whatever it may be.
For a time he would smoke weed, every day. Nothing wrong with that. He said it helped him sleep. So glad he was getting his sleep. But I think there was some underlying issues. Yeah.
You think? Anybody who quits just drinking, and I don't want to say just drinking because drinking can become a problem, let me go harder. Because that's what it sounded like to me. He made it seem like he was going to step down, but no, he eventually stepped up.
Well, we know how this ends. Growing up, he had intermittent depressive episodes, nothing major, but it was in July 2016 that things really took a turn for the worse. He would get more frequent highs and lows, and they would be more intense. He was home from school, obviously, during the summer, and in that time he decided he would become a popular rapper. And he was convinced he was going straight to the tippity top. With a name like Austy Frosty? Come on, that's billboard material. Right there. You're missing out. Check him out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Music Television, and we are presenting Austy Frosty.
Frosty. It's Frosty. People say I'm very.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to perform Hound Dog by Elvis Esquire Presley. You know, the king. Alright, thank you very much, and prepare to listen.
He also became passionate about civil rights. He said he would act as a mediator for Black Lives Matter. He stopped being his usual goofy self and became a very serious person interested in very serious topics. All through this, as the summer of 2016 went on, he was still in college, and he was working away at his dad's dental practice. And he would discuss these things with patients at his dad's dental practice, which his dad thought was weird. Some might say they were, in a waiting room, waiting to, have their chompers checked. Austin saw them as, a captive audience.
I'm not a scientist, bro. But I know how stuff works. I mean, you can call me God if you want to. The God of fitness. I'm just fucking.
It was in early August. He spent the weekend at his girlfriend's house, Katie. She lived in Tampa. That when he woke up, he saw monsters. See, this wouldn't be the first time he saw, hallucinations like that. Growing up, he had sleep paralysis. In his college, while he was in college one time, he thought he saw some, demons, but he wasn't sure if he was asleep or awake. But hallucinations weren't anything entirely new, they were just a lot more there. Upon witnessing this, he started studying religion, philosophy, and he was going to be the next Gandhi / Martin Luther King / famous rapper / Jesus. He started to believe he could manipulate water. He had superpowers. He's an X-Men. As you can see, these mental issues, it all happened very, very suddenly. I mean, this could have been under, the surface for years before finally exploding, tragically, for really everybody involved. In August 2016, he started to become afraid of the dark, that evil spirits were after him, so watch out. He would sleep with the family dog for protection. The dog would protect him, while he would also collect people's business cards for their protection. He would then rip them up because he realized, oh no, me collecting their business cards, it's actually doing the opposite of protection. It's like anti-protection.
Alright, that's it for the day, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. More dieting advice will be coming soon. Thank you very much. This is Vladimir Frostenkov, and
he realized his horoscope was a Sagittarius, a centaur. So he also thought he was a centaur. He would look up, what are the strengths and weaknesses of centaurs? What stats has it got? The Friday before the attack, he flushed all his drugs, as he was concerned about purity. A critical thing happened on the 14th of August, Sunday, the Sunday before. Himself, his dad's girlfriend, and Austin's friend Sam went to a gun show. There, he bought a knife for protection.
What's up, guys? I just want to let you know that I came to a realization of something. I no longer want to follow Arnold or any other bodybuilder. I want to follow myself, I want to actually believe in myself. I want to learn from other things, other people, other bodybuilders and stuff. But I just know that they're not me, I know what's right for me. I don't need drugs. I know that they can change me. But the thing is, that's not being healthy, Being healthy is what's natural, Who knows,
So would y'all classify this dude as sort of bipolar? Just asking.
In the week preceding what happened, here's a number of texts Austin sent to his girlfriend, Katie. On the morning of Monday, August 15th, Austin woke up quite early. We don't even know if he slept. And he put on some clothing. He put on a jersey, a football jersey, a Falcons jersey. Good man. It was a Michael Vick jersey. He put it on because he thought he was half dog. Vic, dogs, let's move on. He went to the beach where he, quote, ran like an animal. He ended up at his father's house where he left his car. His dad, however, wouldn't give him the keys until he took Xanax. Austin, in turn, jumped up and down on his dad's car, the hood and roof, until he handed over the keys. He eventually ended up at a fraternity brother's house. Others drank and smoked weed. Austin didn't, but he did begin to feel God-like. He ended up going to dinner with his dad's girlfriend, and his friend Sam, but stormed out after feeling trapped. He then walked to his mother's house. They all lived in Jupiter, pretty, within a couple of miles of each other. When he got to his mother's house, he was feeling thirsty. So he drank cooking oil and then went back to the restaurant. He stormed out again after nearly punching his...
Whoa, did he just say cooking oil? He drank cooking oil. He digested cooking oil. Did nobody see that? And it's not right here. Maybe we need to get him checked out. Him jumping up and down on the car. Maybe we need to get him checked out.
Dad. After which he ran and, quote, followed the stars. At one point, he encountered an evil figure, a dark figure with a white face, he said, and he fled, screaming from it, and ran toward a lit garage, asking for help. This was on Kokomo Lane. Next thing he remembers, he saw a woman screaming at him. He thought she was a witch, so he pulled out the knife he had bought the day before. And yeah, he later grabbed a machete in the garage, and, well, next thing, Jeff called 911.
Don't open that. Don't open that.
No, sir. I've got this guy wrapped around him and he's fighting him.
After that, he just remembers waking up at the hospital. John and Michelle were declared dead at the scene. Jeff had wounds to his lower back, internal bleeding, broken fingers, and cuts on his head. It was around that time, about 2 hours after the initial attack. This was about 11 p.m. The attack happened, after 9.
So there's no connection between him and the couple there's no connection? He just randomly showed up? Imagine that, you sitting in your garage. And some of us like to, I just ain't had the time to get out my garage and clean it up to where I could put something out there. I have a man cave, but to have another place to go and just chill out, maybe outside, would be dope. So I thought about turning my garage into that. So imagine that, sitting in your garage, chilling. You done cracked open a couple cold ones, you and your old lady. Or if you're a woman, you and your significant other. And y'all kicking back, y'all having fun, and then this dude just shows up into your garage out of nowhere and just starts to go in on y'all randomly. Like, this is how do you protect yourself? I'm pretty sure they didn't see it coming. And then you see a random person. Did they automatically get alarmed? I don't know. Like, this is getting out of control, man.
They got another 911 call. This one was a little late, and it was from Mother Mina.
Yes, I don't know how to do this. My son, he's kind of taken off, and I'm concerned about his own safety, acting a little strange. Seems like he's a little delusional, or this is just like recent change and that we're noticing. And he was out to dinner with his dad today, and he took off. And he says, he feels immortal and like a superhero. So I don't know what's going on with him.
It's kind of amazing no one picked up on what Austin was going through. I mean, he did have no real history of mental illness, though, like, as I said, it could have been just under the surface and just bubbled up and led to what happened. He was never in trouble with the law, and though he did do a bit of drugs, nothing too major, he wasn't doing like flakka or anything like that. The bath salts guy who also ate a face in Florida.
I thought he was on bath. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I thought he was on bath salts at the beginning.
This was a major surprise to pretty much everyone. They all thought he was off on something. Off his banana by having some kind of substance in his system. There wasn't. They did all the tests and they found jack shit.
I know it's a terrible situation, but I want to ask you some questions about the night that the incident happened. When was the last time you saw him? At 8:20?
Something like that.
Okay, where did you see him?
That's when I dropped him off at Duffy's.
You dropped him off at Duffy's? Okay. So you mentioned on your 911 call that he's acting schizophrenic. Is there any history in your family of schizophrenia on your side of the family? Any sign of mental illness on your side of the family?
Look at how distraught she is. And she can barely keep it together.
I mean, we always teased that my brother was, but...
But did he ever get treated?
No.
No medicine? What about your son? Did you ever treat him for any?
No.
No? Okay. Has he ever seen a psychiatrist or been treated for...
I don't think he has.
Okay. Was he on any kind of medication?
No.
No? Okay. Jesus Christ.
At the hospital, Austin was still violent, fighting against his restraints, having to be sedated. He had cuts on his hands, his thumb was nearly hacked off. But internal injuries to Austin were worse. See, at one point during the attack, he drank some kind of liquid he found in the garage and knocked it back. Don't know what it was. He would later say he thought it was some kind of alcohol, but it was more likely bleach. It burned the shit out of him, his throat, his stomach, everything. He had severe internal bleeding, his organs would fail for a time, the works. He would be in bad shape for a time, but after a few weeks, he made it. Almost 2 months later, he was charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
I have some memory of what happened, but I don't remember how we got into the altercation or into the fighting. I don't remember.
Do you remember her husband coming out?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And do you remember what he said?
No. I really don't have words to explain how I feel. It's like a nightmare.
Is it hard for you to imagine that you did this to these 2 people?
Yeah. I'm sorry for their loss, and I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me. And I'm so sorry, and I never wanted this to happen. I'm so sorry. It's like a nightmare.
Austin was at one point diagnosed, among other things, schizophrenia in particular, with clinical lycanthropy delusions, which is werewolf syndrome. PETA, always knowing how to piss people off, sent a letter asking Austin to be put on a vegan diet. I got a feeling he won't ever eat meat again. Austin is still due to stand trial. This case is still ongoing and he will have to face 2 counts of first-degree murder, burglary of a dwelling with assault or battery while armed, and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder with a weapon.
Please wait while your call is being connected. This is a call.
I definitely think he should be committed. You know what I mean? Because like it said, no prior run-ins with the law. He was a typical kid, typical young adult, college, frat, drugs, alcohol. You know what I mean? Typical stuff that you would see. Wanting to be the quote-unquote rapper. Then, so this isn't nothing out of the ordinary. how he went from 0 to 100 to me is definitely like what happened here or what was going on that they didn't see. So yeah, he should definitely be committed.
From
Austin Harrow.
Hey, Austin.
Hey, Dad.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
I'm real proud of you. How you didn't answer any questions.
Yeah. Well, how's life?
It's a tough on us, Austin. We're not used to this.
Am I gonna be okay?
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
Is everyone scared?
Yeah, but
they need to put him on suicide watch, bro. You can hear certain things, you can hear in people's voice, and you be like, he needs to be on a 24-hour continuous suicide watch. You can hear it in his voice. He ain't built for this life that's in front of him. Jail, probably maybe the rest of his life. What could be in front of? Yeah. He don't sound like he's fit for this.
No, I'm pretty confident that we can pull something off here.
Yeah. Are you getting me a therapist or anything?
Yes, I plan on it.
Can you do it soon?
Have you talked to your mama yet?
I tried to, but she didn't answer, so I'm going to call her after.
His defense filed, well, insanity defense, obviously. And he was examined by two different doctors, one for the defense and one for the prosecution. They both found the same thing. Here's one. He did not know his conduct was wrong. And here in another, it should be understood that the manifestation of Mr. Harf's psychiatric illness resulted in a psychotic episode so acute that 2 innocent people were killed and another near fatally wounded. Such an event is highly unusual, as people with mental illness are no more likely to commit violent crimes than ordinary members of the public. He meets the criteria for legal insanity at the time of the offense, but he should be tested to determine his potential for future acts of violence toward himself or others. The trial has been continued.
Alright, let me go back. Alright, I was waiting on him to finish reading. But I wanted to read this part that I see right here that lends to what I was saying earlier. Research, however, has shown that the violent risk is increased in individuals with a bipolar disorder or who also engage in substance abuse. I think he fits both of those criteria, bro. You know what I mean? Anytime you roll up on a scene as a cop and you see somebody eating somebody, yeah, he's mental. He's different. He's somewhere else.
Acts of violence toward himself or others. The trial has been continually delayed, COVID, really. So who knows when it will actually go ahead. The latest is a status hearing that is set for June 18th, 2021. And that's the date on that one. It's really, tragic all around. I mean, ultimately, of course, your sympathy's gotta lie. And it does with the victims who were horrifically killed. John and Michelle were just chilling, supping on a cold one in the garage when met with a nightmarish end. Their families, John, he had...
I was just about to say prayers to their families, bro. Because, and to do everything right in your life, go through life, work hard, meet somebody, create a successful, happy family, and now you're just in chill mode. And for somebody to just come up and just take your life like that, man, prayers to that family. Because that's I can only imagine what they're going through.
2 children. They obviously want to see Austin Fry, and he,
And you can't do nothing but respect that from them because of what they're dealing with and what was taken from them.
Could be eligible for the death penalty.
I think the defense is total bull.
Well, they hold up the FBI report and you say, see, he didn't do any drugs. Drugs aren't an issue in this case. But what they're not telling the public is what wasn't tested for.
I think, true crime's really about justice. The search for it, whether people get it or not. But in this case, is there really any justice to be gotten? I mean, Austin was a victim to an extent as well. He was a victim of his own mental illness that was untreated, and nobody around him seemed to pick up on it or do anything about it. I mean, when you look at Austin's life, you gotta feel sorry for him, you know, especially in August 2016. And it seemed like, you can go look at his Google searches, it seemed like he wanted help, you know? Seems everybody else was just oblivious. It would be grand. Or just didn't pick up on it. I mean, look at his YouTube, he clearly needed help.
I know what you're thinking, you're probably like, that's fucking crazy, mate, like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah, man. Mental health is definitely, and like I said, you can never be upset with the victims' families for feeling like they want him to, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote, fry for it. You can't be mad at them. They're feeling the way they feel because their family was just taken from them. So I'll never knock or be judgmental towards them. And then, like he also said, I could see, like I said, I thought he needed to be committed. You could tell he was mentally off. And although we hope people around us to pick up on our signals when we need help, you got to remember that people are going through things in their lives too. So it don't always work out that way that they're able to pick up on what we're going through. You know? And it sucks, but that's life. But man, this is a messed up situation, bro. Messed up. So continued prayers to the families on both sides. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you thought about this one. This one here was tragic. It's your boy L. Till the next reaction, I'm gone. Peace.